is a senior citizen. He retired from the service a while ago. He has remained in the circle, and this is something we are recognizing and appreciating. Actually, let me take this opportunity to recognize our senior citizens, those people who are in service, have retired and have chosen to remain in the circle. Kagenyi, I see Wana-Anga, and Waweru will come over. Then we will take questions after Patrick has sipped his water. I'll give him 3 minutes just to tell us how practical these things are. Karibu, karibu.
Thank you, Morioke. I'm not very good at English, but this is a pure definition of the word ambush, because I was not told I was going to talk. But anyway, I cannot disrespect my chairman, Mr. Maige, who requested me to say something. As you heard, there is a word that has been misused in this forum. Wana-Anga, you are one of the victims. You have misused that word. There is nothing like retirement. It is only transfer of services. You don't retire. Do we agree? In fact, you become more busy after leaving KMD or what you are doing. Because now you are doing your own things. You are your own boss. You control your time and you manage your time. So do we agree? Let me say something. Your 2 minutes ni sawa. But I would want to say, I really appreciate Wana-Anga. Those of us who joined in December, I remember I joined in December 1985, and I have been a faithful member of Wana-Anga. Without these people, I would not be where I am. Because it is upon me that every January, I always take a loan. Gojiri, Mainge, Morioke, and this gentleman, Rota, you can confirm that. Every January, I have to be here with a form. Sometimes I take money and I'm not sure where I'm taking, but I have to commit my income to pay a certain loan. Okay? So, as I thank these people for managing Wana-Anga very well and professionally. I left Met. This is my 12th year. Early voluntary, I was not sacked, and I had only one regret. I was still in employment. That was my only regret. You people must understand that anything that I own or I do, it's not me. I have used your money. That better know. I have used your money. Because anytime I come to ask for 2-3 million, it's not me. My share is just 1 million. Your pesa jina ni anani? Ni yenu. So clap for yourself. Muone mumesaidia Waweru. Okay? So, when I was told I was going to be given 5 minutes, I have 2-3 points I would want to share with you. First of all, I would want you to try and ask what other people do in other circles. You will realize that yours is God sent. Your officials are always accessible. I don't know whether it is me, but I meet them everywhere, ask questions everywhere. And some of them whom I even don't know calls me. This lady used to call me. Wakati wa uchaguzi, I didn't know her. Yeah. But I can assure you, you have the best. In terms of financing, if there is any team that is really wanting to help you anytime, this gentleman. Actually, I'm one of those people who have been persuading them to take what we call collateral. Because I'll give you an example. Some of you, and I have seen you, when I ask you to sign the form for me to take a loan, you decline. Do you know Very soon you are joining me. Who will sign for you? Who will sign for you? Right now, I am sure I have over 1 million with a circle. I have not signed for anybody because nobody is approaching me. But me, when I'm in need, I approach people and I keep asking them, when are you going to take loans? So make use of us. Okay? And you are not even worried because you are employed. There is a pay slip. So please, those guys who are retired, take care of them. You are soon joining us. Okay? The other thing I would have wanted to mention is that opportunities favors the prepared. When you go out there, you will see an opportunity that cannot wait. And I really thank God for these people. We used to apply for a loan and stay for 3 months before you get your normal loan. Now I hear it is within the month. I would really want you people to move further and now give loans twice a month. Yeah? And even we move further and give loans weekly. Why? This country, opportunities will not last for a month waiting for your own approval. That might take it to the bank. Opportunities come and you have to run away with it. So you have food for thought. Think whatever you are giving, break it into 2 weeks. And with the time, break it to 1 week. And we'll all be there. Somebody mentioned about shares, us investing in shares. The biggest crime that retirees are, whatever you call yourself retirees are facing is lack of cash flow. I'm not against the land selling company. In fact, I'm wearing one because I belong to one. But land banking, get admitted in hospital. For you to get money out of that plot, you will die, be buried, and be forgotten before the land is sold. So sometimes when you have got cash flow from your dividends, sometimes compare investing in shares and land banking. Yeah? And I hope we'll get a forum. I would advise you to, those of us who have retired, call us sometime and we talk, because all these are our brothers and sisters. So as I end, I would want to tell you where I am. I'm here, I'm there because of Wana-Anga. For those of you who have the opportunity of taking this bottle, this is my investment. The machines to buy this, I bought at 5 million in India because I make the bottles. I was given that loan by Wana-Anga. The borehole that you get water from, I get water from, and not even one, sponsored by Wana-Anga. So, Ogudu told me he would not want to see Dasani in Wana-Anga anymore because they even don't know the owner. And it's even more expensive. And they do not contribute. I agree. This is the bride to go. So, why can't it be you? Why can't it be you? There is no miracle, isn't it? Just talk to Wana-Anga. I can see Muriuki is getting impatient. And let me finish by saying, when we go out there, because of the environment that we live in, we are forced to get into other circles. I'm a member of another circle, but I can't compare with what we have. Yeah? And I can tell you for free, do not leave your mother. The people who used to retire some time back, they used to pull off their shares, isn't it? If you are preparing to retire, do not pull your shares from here. Nobody knows you outside that gate. Nobody. Previously, when I want to borrow 20, 30 million, I would go to Equity. Now that they can accept my collateral, I'll come and borrow some 30, 50 million. But I'm sure they will give me. So it can be you. Lastly, but not least, there is something I would want you to adapt. We were told by Wagali Madai that when you play around with the environment, nature is very unforgiving, isn't it? I would want to add something else. Save money today. The money will save you tomorrow. Do we get that? The money you save today will save you tomorrow. Okay? Lastly, always have a loan. When you don't have a loan, and I'm sure most of you, especially men, I don't know how many men ni wangapi wako na hii wallet. Men, kama uko naye toa, nitolee tu. If you have a wallet, it's important. You have a wallet. Ebu fungua hiyo wallet. Just open the wallet. Yeah? Iko na nini? Yako iko na pesa gapi? 1000 gapi? 5. Maige 6,000. Na wewe wameo yako iko hapo. What am I saying? The money that you put in the wallet is not your money. It is for sponsoring the lifestyle of other people. Your money is in brick and mortar. When you find a man carrying money in their wallet, haina kitu. Because what are these incidentals that Maige is going to have? Amebeba 6,000. Ni nini? And he said correctly, if you had not planned for it, forget it. And life continues. Ladies, I don't want to ask you because yenu najuanga title, marriage certificate, kila kitu iko kwa hiyo bag. Yenu si. I'm talking to the men. So, with those few ones, thank you very much, Nick, for giving me an opportunity. Mr. Ameo, I had thought that I know. Now I am sharpened, and I think I would want to be near where you are giving the lecture next. I believe I am a veteran in business, but I have learned so many things. God bless you, and please welcome to our world.
Thank you, Wana Samuel Waweru. We now want to start winding up. We want to take questions, and we want to manage time better. As the credit committee, as the chair, look at what has been compiled by the secretariat. We will pick a few questions from here, then also respond to those that have been raised online. Secretariat, prepare for a mail. But let's begin with Patrick's presentation. To manage time better, let me do it row by row, or is it column by column? How many any question for Patrick here? Yes. Mpe mic tafadhali. Get straight to the question. Samajina. Next hand, is there another hand here? Done here. Nataka kupanga vizuri ndio tukomboe muda. Then another one here. Any other question for Patrick? There'll be one from Arab Mitei. So we have 3 questions. Let's begin with the first one at the back.
Yes, I'm Gerald Chien, share 4648. My question is, I'm a young man right now. I think my age group around here is very minimal. I'm below 35 years old. So what plans do we have as a society to help the young youths like me who are unemployed with a lot of ideas from the university? We don't have employment, but we are seeking that financial godfather to help us invest. We want your money to invest in our ideas. Asanteni. So what plan do we have to be the financial godfather of our youths who are just cleared the universities and they are unemployed? Thank you.
What plans do we have as a SACCO? I'm not sure. As a SACCO. So that's not Patrick's question, eh? Okay. So the chair will respond to that. There was another hand here.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Robert Sige, membership number 3394. As I was moving around, there's a request I've made. They're saying, well, we have had the message that to be paid something, if it is something like setting a loan, to be paid on our banks. But they are saying, for today, to be paid on M-Pesa. Kindly, if it's possible.
Okay, again, that's not a question for Mayor. I would have wished that we respond to the presentation, but we've taken note, Bwana Sige. Any question for Patrick? Because he may want to leave after this. I wanted him to address the questions. So if it is a question directed to us, we can handle that. Arapmite, is yours for Patrick?
It was for the chairman.
Okay, hold on, Kidogo. Okay, there you are.
Thank you, members. My question is to Bwana Mayor. Having spoken and having met many people who are like us, what recommendation would you give for a young man who you have talked to us about, the minimum required to do the saving in any cooperative at the age of 40 in preparation for exiting maybe formal employment? Thank you.
Okay. Any other question for Patrick? Daktari Sagero? Any other before I allow him to respond? Okay.
Okay. Philip Sagero, membership 3627. Very quick one on investment. How can you advise young people who want to invest rather than shares in the circle, issues of T-bond, are they viable? The government bonds and how the returns you see can help in terms of alternative cash flow from this.
Okay, last one here. Then is there any online, Sheila, for Patrick? Okay. Pewa mic.
My name is Steven Pelo, membership number 6047. My question is to Mr. Omeo. I'm a Maasai, and you know the climate change, about drought, and right now my cows are in Kitui County, and I've been taking loans in Wana-Anga, but the investment I used to make is to buy a lot of cows and sheep and goats. Now that there's this climate, how can you help me? Because I wish I got this message even when I was employed here 2019. And even I would like to tell the management that even if you get some new staff, please, don't just recruit us inside the Wana-Anga circle or the loans without giving us such experts, because they actually change our life. Because when I was sitting here, I felt I met somewhere, because I wish I met you somewhere. And I want you to help me now that there is this climate change. Which some other good things that I can do? Because I want to sell those small sheep and goats left. How can I put in the shares, in the banks, or how can you improve me better? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Most of the comments we are receiving online, just to commend you for the wonderful presentation. Let me sample one. Mary from Mary Abulista, mafunzo mazuri sana. Maria Wakolo, I'm empowered. A question from Mwaura Kamau. Is Patrick available for individual consultancy? Over to you, Patrick.
I think even Gerald, the question you raised, apart from the SACCO side, you're basically asking, we have ideas, are they financially worth? And I think I have something to tell you there, because you represent the largest proportion of the future. I run a business called the Entrepreneurship Center with my friends, and we used to put in this business our own money, our own profits, to try and develop capacity in young people. And the one thing that I hear from young people is that we can do it, but when you bring them in the room, the doing disappears. Are you getting me? It's a difference having an idea, but to translate that idea into knowledge. That person who mentioned, who read the Bible verse, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is not information. Hello? Knowledge is not information. Knowledge is information put into practice. So a SACCO might not be the place to have ideas for you, for money, because the kind of money you need for the ideas that a young man would have would come from a different source. Here on Ngong Road, there's a place called Nairobi Garage. Right opposite, right before you reach Orthodox or what? What do you call that church, that hospital? Coptic. Before you reach Coptic, the next street, there's a very tall apartment on the other side of the road, right opposite it on the left-hand side. It's a place called Nairobi Garage. That's the kind of place that you should be in, should find time in the evening to engage with what we call incubational practices. You have to download that idea from your head and turn it into what we call a concept. A concept is something that can now be implemented. It is at that point when the idea has been given a proof of concept that someone can risk a shilling on you. Now, unfortunately, no one is going to risk their money on you to prove the concept. You will find angel investors who are willing to listen to you, to give you 100,000, to give you small amount of money, but to prove the concept. And when it's now approved, then money comes. But they will ask you for 30% of your business. And because you are inexperienced, you are thinking 30%. My friend, you have nothing. That concept is nothing unless it is proven. It is now the proven concept that can attract capital. Today, I mentioned to you 4 people here. Jim Nambaru is the largest owner of Equity Bank, not Munga. Munga had the idea. Jimna had the money to turn a loss-making family equity building society into a bank. Are you getting it? Someone has to be willing to risk their money. So a lot of you young people think that I have a beautiful idea, an idea that cannot produce money, cannot put money to the bank. It's not a concept. It is a hot air and anybody is thinking about it. I'm done with you. Everything else you ask me on a private session one-on-one. In terms of the question of investing in young people, T-bonds, the kind of financial instruments, are they viable? What's that gentleman? You Sagero? Good, very quickly, for everyone. This is not just for Sagero. There are 5 different assets or asset classes within the portfolio income. I mentioned them by income. On top, the worst or the worst risk that can swing any side is shares. Next to it is bonds. So write them that way in that order. The highest risk sits in shares. If you buy a share, it can move anywhere to 0 and the highest. So understanding how value comes in is very important for you to then make money from shares. Bonds are the next up there, especially the government bonds. The corporate bonds will not allow you to invest. The corporate bonds require $1 million bob and up, or 10 million or 100 million. They don't take private investors, small money. They take somebody who has excess money. Are we together? So bonds are next in that queue. Now bonds can move in value up or, but the movement is very small, very small. So if you look at the newspaper, you'll see bonds, especially the Business Daily on Thursday, the last 4 pages there. You'll see bonds priced as either 100%, 93, or 104. Those 3 prices are occurring in the market at the same time. Why? If you issue this bond when the interest rates are high, then the interest rates drop. It's a 10-year bond. When the interest rate has dropped, your interest now remain high. People who want a 10-year bond would rather buy that bond than buy a new one. Are you getting me? But if the interest rate now rose, so that now your bond is lower, the new bond is higher interest, the people who want to buy a similar bond would rather buy this new one. So bonds, the value of the bond goes with where the market interest is. Remember, a bond is a government of Kenya instrument for borrowing from the public. So when the government is borrowing like it is borrowing now, what do you expect? Interest rates are where? High. So new bonds issued now are coming with high interest rates. So that when the market will turn, so that the interest rates will drop, that bond will be very valuable compared to new ones. So when you want to buy a bond, you don't buy a bond because you are buying a bond for returns. A bond is bought with people, by people who will not need that money for at least 2 years. Why 2 years? Because the price of bonds can play for a while, and if you have an emergency and you have to sell the bond, you sell it at the price of the day. If it's today at 93, you sell at 93. If it's 100, you sell for 100. If it's 104, you sell for 104. So if you are keeping school fees money in bonds, you will sell at the price it is to get liquidity. So in terms of viability, I think I've explained that. Treasury bills come in next. Treasury bills are short-term investments of up to 1 year, 364 days. Bonds start from 365 days. The typical bond in Kenya is 365 days to 30 years, what we call infrastructure bond. Infrastructure bonds are good for retirees who need money coming regularly. So you can put your money there. You don't need the money, you only need the interest coming from it. The money melala pale. So treasury bills are for people who want some interest rate on money they are holding for around 90 days up to 1 year. Strictly speaking, the interest rate on treasury bill is purely inflation adjustment. It might look very good, but that reflects the purchasing power of the country. So it doesn't quite pay you extra, but it pays you better than a bank. Am I saying something? Yes. So the next item are now what we call unit trusts, and they come in 4 of them. I can't explain all of them. The equity one is made out of shares. The income fund is made out of bonds. What we call money market is cash and treasury bills. And just the way the treasury bill remains flat, the cash also remains flat. So those are the instruments you now need to know. You need to be taught about the strategy of the fund. Na ulinganishe na yako. Ninaenda huku. Hiyo inaenda huku ama inaenda huku. That you choose according to the one you want. Hapo tumeelewana? I think I've done the Masai guy, Stephen. Stephen, there are many answers to your question, but the key one is, it is difficult for Masai to stop having goats and cows. It might not be 0, but you need to diversify. That's the only answer, because climate change means that the weather is going to be bad or worse the following year. So what I have seen, which people nowadays do, and you can do it in modern farming, if you have the money, buy land or you have land, you specialize on buying feeds and that feed you have there, or get water out. So when the people are suffering like now, you don't keep goats during the year. You buy when they are suffering. You go and buy all the ones they are selling because you have food in your place. You keep them alive, fatten. When the time is out, you do what? Sell, because you can't do the Masai way. Ile ya kuchunga. You now wakati yake imepita. The ideal thing is to try and do feedlot thing, where when people are now, they are selling them for 3K every goat. You buy all the 3Ks. Then you keep them for up to 4, 5, 6 months on your feed and your water, if you have water. A friend of mine has done that somewhere near the border town in towards Tanzania, and he's doing very well. He's just buying and fattening and selling, because you still want to get the cows. Like a Masai, it's difficult to get a cow out of you. That's for a fact. It's just part of your life. So it's more of change what to do with it. And I think until we meet again, I am off to Baringo, which is really dry, and I'm required there.
Thank you so much. But before you leave, it would be encouraging to hear these comments. Nelly Rota, very informative. More of these trainings should be organized going forward. Nancy Maangi, it was worth my time. Thank you. Flora Wakolo, thank you. Wana-Anga for the presentations and providing the virtual meetings attendance. Francis Katiku, this day is well spent. Expectations exceeded. Paul Rabala, indeed, it has been good. So we thank you so much. Even as you leave, take our greetings. Let's now take questions. Let's first address the ones that have been raised. There are questions pertaining to credit committee. Si mmejipanga? So nikianza hapa nikienda hivi ni sawa? Okay, karibu.
Hello. Yeah, this is about credit.